Hello and welcome to the Organization Section 1 challenge. In this challenge, there are 8 different steps to complete. So if you haven't already, I would encourage you to try doing this on your own and follow the steps and see how many of these you can do. If there are any that you missed, you can watch the video with me and follow along. Or if you have finished it and you want to check your answers, you can also follow. So I'll give you a second to pause the video, go ahead and go through it if you haven't already, and then, spoiler alerts, I guess. Here, let's start with the first step. Freeze the header row, bold the text, and add a bottom line border to the header. So we can go ahead and highlight these. You can also push the 1 and press the B for bold, or you can do Command B or Control B. Next, you're going to bold and then freeze it. So you can either pull the line down, or you can select that and then go to View, Freeze, 1 row. Both of those will do the same thing, which freezes the top row in order to always see it as you scroll through. The last thing says to add a bottom row. So it's up to you, but in the borders here, the bottom row would be here, and you can adjust whatever size. So I was thinking this kind of deeper one, but it's up to you. Same for the color. You can kind of choose whatever color. I'm going to try to match it. And there we go. Now, unfortunately, when you have this frozen, it kind of goes through the line, so it doesn't look as clean as it does like this, but we do want it frozen too. So in any case, we did that. So that is completed. Next is to format the columns to all match text and size. So you can kind of see here there's different fonts, there are different sizes, there's all sorts of things. So I'm just going to highlight it all, and then you can kind of choose what you want the text to be. Now, usually if you want a little more professional look, it'd be like the Arial or one of those. This is just a little harder to read. It kind of is mimicking handwriting. So I'm just going to do one of these ones here. And then to get the size, you can adjust the size, but when you do that, it'll all increase. So you can just select. Generally, it's a 10 or 11. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Now it's to change column B from the formulas to values. Oh, that should actually say column D. I'll adjust it here. If you're watching there, if you were trying this on your own, apologies. The way to actually check too is you could do Command, Control, and then tilde, both of them are Control. So Control on either one, and then tilde. You can actually see which one is the formula. So that toggles on or off what formulas there are. So D is the one. So what you do is you would highlight it all and then copy it. And then you can paste the value by doing Command or Control plus Shift V, and that pastes value. So the other thing you can do is you can paste special and say values only. And so now these will show the emails rather than the formulas. So make sure all data is seen in the body of the table. So this is where some of it is being hidden from these. So if you highlight them all and then you click twice in between one of the lines, that automatically shows. Or you can select whichever ones you want and just kind of do each one the same. Or if you select all of them, you can have them all be the same there. But in order to get it as, cleanly looking, pressing that twice is the way. Now, sometimes there are data on the side here. So if you, highlight all of this and then push it twice, it would show if there's a second row kind of hidden here. In this case, there's not, but just in case, there's another thing you can do to check. Next, make sure there are no duplicate person IDs. Remove duplicates if present. So the person IDs are here. You could go through and count them. You could sort them and see, or you can kind of what I intended is you can highlight these or the one row, go to data, data cleanup. Now we can see if it happens to be suggested. I don't see anything there. So let's just go to data, data cleanup, remove duplicates. So data has a header row, and we want to remove any person ID duplicates. There were 3 duplicate rows and 40 that remain. So we'll just assume, however, since we just did the 1, this actually happens, where it'll just remove the one thing there. So I'm going to do command Z to undo. Sorry if I led you. I wanted to show you what kind of seemed like the right way, but also an issue. So go and highlight the entire thing, and then go to data, data cleanup, remove duplicates. Now, if it is truly an entire duplicate, you could analyze all of the rows and then remove duplicates. So let's see, and the 3 did. So you did okay. If you were just looking there, like maybe someone accidentally used the same person ID, you can do that same thing, remove duplicates, but then just select the person ID. And since you highlighted all of that, it actually removes the entire row or the entire record rather than just the one person ID like what we saw earlier. So the last 2 ways work. The first one doesn't, because then it just basically moves them all back up. And so now the person IDs are all unique. Next is sort the range by asset type, asset condition, then by last name. So you're going to make data, and then you can go to sort range. Again, sheet would be the entire thing. Range would be whatever you selected. Then you'd need to go to advanced. Data has header row. So now asset type, add another, then asset condition, and then last name. The order will matter because the asset type will be first, then it'll be by the condition of it, and then last name. If you put the last names first, then it would just do all of those last names, and if there's any last names that happen to be the same, then it would do the asset type and then the condition. So it is important to do it in that same order as specified. So now that you do that, we see that the asset type, all of the computers are first, and then they go by damaged, then good, then new. And then we also see in these damaged, you can see these are A to Z. So that is complete. Next is to create a graph to show the count of each asset type. So these are the asset types. Earlier, we highlighted all of it, and you can do that. You can specify the specific range that you need, then insert, chart. Here we have the asset type, and it says create a graph. So this technically would be a graph and would work. Again, it didn't specify, and maybe I should have been a little more clear. Column chart or pie chart really would work. I myself would also add data labels. You don't have to, since it was not clear there. Really you could create any graph, but as long as it's showing that there are, computers, desktops, iPads, and phones, and they should be the same exact number here. Lastly, it says create a graph that shows the count of each. I'm just going to lower this a little bit. A filter called repairs that shows only damaged status in the asset condition. So you'll have to highlight all of this, go to data, filter view, create a new filter view. Set to put it as repairs. And, if it's a little bit different name, in this case isn't a big deal, but maybe if you're doing this for work, you would want to make sure that you're following it. And then it just says damage as asset condition. So you'd go to the filter in asset condition. I would start by just pushing clear, which removes all of them, and then select whatever categories you would want, which in this case is damaged. Pushed OK, and there we are. One thing to note too is it'll actually automatically update to show whatever is on the screen here. So you can see now it's showing there's 9 computers damaged, 1 desktop, 1 iPad, and 1 phone. So just a little extra tip for, the ranges that you have. It might be useful, and to kind of have it automatically change as the data changes. So now that we have that, and let me just for whatever reason, this looks a lot smaller than here. I think it just happens to be the names go down, but anyway, sorry. I'll keep those thoughts to myself. So there, now that we did that, it's completed. And in order to get out of this view, you can just push the X, and there's our lovely graph again. So hopefully all of these you felt ready, and this was a challenge, but you were able to be successful based off of following these lessons. Otherwise, if there were some things you wanted to look back at, feel free to use the videos. You can also leave a comment if there's anything that you had questions on, or, any feedback within this first section. So thank you for following along. In the next section, we'll be looking a little bit more at functions. It's nesting functions, but also just kind of the order of functions and how to just get a little bit deeper in how to use those. So thank you again for watching. Feel free to do the YouTube things of liking, subscribing, following, all of those YouTube stuff. So till the next one, bye now.